Hello everyone, I welcome you all to your YouTube channel Simply Ignited UPSC and BPSC. Today we are excited to launch our new initiative analyzing science and technology from the Hindu in 25 minutes. But let me first remind you that please like, share and subscribe our video and spread this work to your friend, family and all others. So without wasting any time, let us move further ahead. So the first article in today's science and technology deals with this homemade analogy that helps study solar spicules in lab. Now let us first understand what a solar spicule actually is. See, this is the surface of the sun, okay, and from surface of the sun we see what these are. Let me change the pen color. These are your flares like thing coming out, and these do what, sometimes they inject some mass, okay. These mass are known as solar specules, okay. Now you understand what is a solar specule. Now let's move further and see and understand what exactly this article wants to say. But before going further, I again want to remind you that please share, subscribe and like our work. Okay, now let's move further. Now there is a spicules on sun using laboratory experiment as analogy. Now why do we do lab experiments? Okay, we know that we cannot go to sun for experiment, we cannot go to sun to do our experiment, so we do what? We develop model, and similar model has been developed for understanding the sun's spicule. Now how have they developed it? Let me explain you in very simple terms. Look, they have done what? This is your speaker system, okay. This is a speaker, right? What they have done, that they have applied a layer of paint on this surface. I should draw it another way. Now look, this is a speaker membrane or speaker simply, and say there has been this paint applied over the surface of the speaker, okay. Now what will happen when the speaker, when this membrane vibrates, okay, this membrane will vibrate, and with vibration what will happen? This paint will break down, okay. Now breaking down of this paint will lead to ejection of small mass of paint. Why? To conserve momentum, okay, right? And this ejection is similar to solar, listen, your solar spicules process, okay. So therefore it helps to understand this process, okay. Now let's see the article. Look, okay, the sun encloses our system. The sun that astronomers are keen to study had to do with solar spicules. These are jets of plasma shooting out from sun outermost layer, chromosphere, and making inclusion into atmosphere. You understand? This is sun. Sun will give out these plasmas and these masses, small masses, which are known as solar spicules, and this is say Earth, and this is our atmosphere. So this will what? This will enter our atmosphere, okay. So they have modeled these specules. As I have said, we develop models, okay. What is a model? A simpler version of complex reality, okay. Now look here, a typical specule may be 4,000 to 12,000 kilometers long and 300 to 1100 kilometers wide, okay. This is the morphology of the spicules. Now see, they are saying if the liquid is like paint or shampoo, instead of forming droplet, it will form long jets, okay. This is because fluid long polymetric chain gives its directionality. Now what happens is, say this is paint, okay. Paint is made up of this is made by what? Polymerization process, okay. So these are holding themselves together, okay. Now since they are holding themselves together, this means what? This means they act as a quasi system, okay. Quasi system is like a false system, okay. It just not actually like a false system. Quasi system is a type of system that has property of both a system and a non-system, okay. It is somewhere in between. In a given condition it will act as a system, and in given other condition it will not act as a system, okay. So when momentum is given, when it gets momentum via speakers, what happened? It ejected together, not one by one, but it is ejected together, okay. So this is the entire experiment here. And now look, okay, this is because fluid long polymetric chain, you see, long polymetric chain give it directionality. This polymetric chain will give it, since they are together, bundled together, so when momentum is given to them, they move together. It is not that they will dissociate and move in all in different direction, no, they will move together. Okay, and this estimated acceleration must be several times that of gravity values. Now the acceleration that is needed for this to happen should be very greater than g. Okay, okay, 9.8 मीटर पर सेकंड स्क्वायर से बड़ा होना चाहिए. You understand this? Okay. And in paint, what is a long chain polyethylene oxide system? Again at home, why these are things they are describing how they have reached there. Now what is the benefit? Trying to understand the origin and nature of solar specule is fundamental importance, not just for coronal heating but also for mass supply to solar wind. Okay, you understand what is solar wind? This helped us in this became strong and helped Mangalyaan to reach its reach Mars on time. Okay, the specules are believed to act like channels to transport mass, momentum and energy. You understand why this is how they can act? Because look, mass, momentum and energy are conserved. Okay, so if out of this one thing is coming out, then it will have its own mass and it will make mass less. It will have its own momentum, it will make its momentum less, and it will have its own energy, it will make its energy less. You understand? So this is the entire article. Now you give it a read. If you feel any problem, you just tell me. I'll try to solve it as soon as possible. Now let's move to the next article. Children more unlikely to produce antibodies. Now you understand antibodies. If you do not understand antibodies, please refer to the static section of science and technology. It is a very basic thing. I'm not going to explain it here. Okay. So there was a small experiment that said that the children who were infected in response to the infection produced less antibodies than adults who were responding to the same infection. Okay, now this part is very well written and it explains the entire article, summarizes the entire article very smoothly. See, adult and children with mild or no symptoms have very different nature of immune system. Means the immune responses from adult and children is different here. Adult and children, they show what? They show varying immune response. Okay, you understand it now? Now how it happens, let's see. First, see why it happens. Okay, both adult and children, whether either asymptomatic, okay, that asymptomatic, that is they didn't show any symptom or had only mild symptoms. Okay, both of them were either asymptomatic or they showed mild symptoms. Okay, the higher proportion of children did not produce antibody in response to SARS-CoV-2 infection. So what is seen that out of 54 children, only 20 produced antibody and rest did not produce antibody, whereas in case of adult, 32 out of 42 produced antibodies. You see how high percentage of adults produce antibody but children did. Okay, the viral load was comparable. Mean CT value cycle, okay, look here, CT values. Okay, it is written the mean cycle threshold. CT means cycle threshold value for adult. You understand what is CT? Cycle threshold. The smaller the CT value, the higher the viral load. Okay, so smaller the CT value means you are highly infected. The larger the CT value means you have low infection. Okay, the viral load was comparable. Fine, the CT value was 24 and 28 for 24 for adult and 28 for children. So it was comparable. One reason, what are the reasons that has been proposed? It has not been verified. Why? How it can be verified in such a small experiment? It needs more trials. So one of the reasons that is being said, that is being estimated, is children clear the virus before triggering the immune system to produce antibody. What does this mean? That the virus in children are defeated even before antibodies are formed. Okay, their response is so active that before even there is a fight between your WBC and the antibodies, or your don't say antibody, antigen, virus. Before this fight also, this virus is killed. Okay, and due to which there was no need to produce new response to it. Okay, there was no need to produce antibodies for it. Okay, virus is it is an antigen. Okay, so there was no need to produce antibodies for it, and hence it is seen that very less antibodies were found in children. Okay, it is not clear if children without antibodies will be protected against the reinfection. So since antibodies are not produced, so there is a chance of reinfection. We know this curve very well. This is a curve for active immunity, which after time becomes 0. This is what innate, say, we do not say it innate, sorry. This is active immunity. Okay, and what is this is due to infection. This curve is for infection. Okay, so this is passive immunity that is provided by provided by vaccines or anything else. Now active immunity, this is for say children. Then for adult it was like what? It was like this adult. And why this difference? This difference is basically due to antibodies production. Okay, you got it now. Now let's move further. There's nothing more in this article. This is a small article. Yes, we can write it as an example, but let's see what kind of questions can we frame in mains. But in pre it is only relevant up to the fact that there was an infection and what are the response, what is your antibody, what is your antigen, what is T cell, what is WBC, and all those things. Okay, these are just static section. Please go through it. Now this is a very good article. What causes interrupted sleep of elderly? Let's see. Lateral hypothalamus plays a role in feeding behavior, means eating, learning, and sleep. Okay, so there is a section of our hypothalamus called lateral hypothalamus. This plays a very important role in feeding behavior, eating, learning, and sleeping. Now we'll have a look at this. You read it. It is not much. It is just a prose before prelude to starting the article. The pineal gland at night releases hormone melatonin, which is involved in regulating the sleep wake cycle. Okay, so this is an important fact that we must know, that which hormone regulates sleep walk cycle. It is the pineal gland's hormone called melatonin. Okay, and then look, voluntary movement. It is known that older person with sleep disturbances degenerates nerve cell. Okay, before that let me give you a glimpse of with the picture. Oh, I have not pasted it right. Okay, fine, I'll tell you. If this is your brain, okay, pineal gland is somewhere here. Okay, and hypothalamus is like this. Okay, pineal gland, what does it give? It gives melatonin, and this is hypothalamus. Don't take it on a scale, it is just for understanding. Okay, hypothalamus, these two things are there. Now let's see. Now how do nerve cell conduct? Say this is a nerve cell. Okay, and this is other nerve cell. Okay, so what happens is that there is a chemical linkage between these two nerve cells. Okay, so what will happen? There's chemical linkage here also, there's chemical linkage here also to other nerve cells. Now how would signal pass through it? See, in this section signal passes as electric signal. Okay, here signal whatever chemical signal. So somewhere here there is conversion. Okay, I'll come to it. What are the parts known as? Again here conversion from electric to chemical, from chemical to electric. Okay, and then again here electric signal. Fine, you understand it? So it goes on like this. Now let's see what it is written. However, our awake state is much more complex because nearly the whole brain is involved. This perhaps why we have perplexed by often disturbed sleep of elderly, where wakefulness repeatedly encroach upon the blissful sleep. It is known that in older persons with sleep disturbance, a degeneration of nerve cell is seen in brain centers involved in coordination of voluntary movement. Okay. The study point to the hypothalamus, which lies on the center of the brain, is the size and shape of almond. Okay, so they are talking about hypothalamus. Fine. An area in the hypothalamus called lateral hypothalamus plays an outsized role in wakefulness, feeding, behavior, learning, and sleep. Okay, that we have already seen. Emerging from here are a bunch of nerve cells that fan out and project their nerve ending to all parts of the central nervous system and are associated with the state of arousal. The chemical message released by this neuron is in form of small proteins called hypocretins, also known as orexins. So hypothalamus releases which protein? It is, look here, read again with me. It is known as hypocretins or orexin. Hypocretin slash orex, O-R-E, orexin. Okay, now let's move further. The two names come from the scientist. Okay, excitatory signals, this is the OX, this is the name for this protein only, right? Like all neurons have ending called synapse. Okay, synapses. So what is this ending called? This ending is called synapses. Okay, now let's see. Electrical signal pass along the length of the neurons. You understand that this unit of brain or say cell of brain is called what? Neurons. Okay, where I was called synapses. Electric signal passes along the length of neuron until they come into synapse, where they are fleetingly transformed into chemical signal which crosses over and generate a response in adjacent neuron. You understand this? So electric signal, then they come to synapses where they get converted into chemical signal, then they passes to the next synapses from where they trigger signal for electrical response from this side. Okay, and the cycle goes on. Okay. Now, hypocretin simulates wakefulness with it motivated behavior such as seeking food or meat, as well as responsiveness to cold, nausea, and pain. You understand this now? So, what does this hypocretin do? Hypocretin do these things: wakefulness activities and mating activities and your eating activities. These are controlled by this thing only, and the responsive to cold, nausea, and pain. 86 billion neurons. Human brain has less than 20,000 produces hypocretin. Okay, so only less than 20,000 neurons produces hypocretin, but this is such an important protein, and this is such an important protein that it controls the wakefulness, and if it is produced in excess can lead to disturbed sleep cycles. Fine. Now let's say neuron that produces hypocretin are no longer okay. What happens in case of your elders? Neurons that produces hypocretin are no longer active when you are asleep. You understand this? And the reverse happens in case of elders, that these neurons are so activated that they do not allow sleepiness. They create sleeplessness. Now with age, changes occur in these hypocretin producing neurons. They become hyper excitable, conducting signals and releasing neuropeptides at a very low threshold. Peptides is building block of proteins. Oh, sorry. Yes, proteins. No, peptides is the building block of. Wait a minute. There's something problem in the system. Yes, it is. It is okay. Now, peptide is the building block of amino acid. No? Amino acid that forms proteins. Right. Now let's move further. Become hyper excitable. This we have done. Now what happens that these neurons, okay, they become hyper excitable with age, and this leads to what production of these hypocretin, and this led to wakefulness in unwanted activation of unwanted wakefulness in these elder people. Okay, lead to fractionless sleep, change in aged neutron, thus make it more difficult to inhibit their activity. Okay, and there is a disease called narcolepsy. Okay, there is a rare disorder the nervous system triggered by the loss of these HCRT or OX neutrons called narcolepsy. Okay, it has a strange characteristic: overwhelming desire to sleep in daytime. So it is what? It is opposite of overexcited. Those what are these? Lateral hypothalamus neutrons. Okay, so it is a disease where one feels to sleep even in daytime, even though the total hour of sleep remains unchanged. The tendency to hallucinate as the sleep-wake phases are blurred, frequent loss of muscle tone, cataplexy, during which muscles become flaccid. So this is a disease related with the reversal of this overexcitement. Okay, and there is nothing much here. Finally, what happens that their sleep cycle is disturbed, and these things are written here. You can read it and understand it. There's nothing there. There was this primordial octopus. Okay, a fossil has been found from Montana. Oldest relative of today's octopus is at 10 arms. So there are rest two arms lost in evolutionary process. Okay, so just give it a read. It is very easy. Okay, I'll give it for you. Oldest known relative of today's octopus boasts 10 arms, and two were twice as long as other 8. Okay, it was 82 million years ago when group called vampiropod that included today's octopus, right? These are the things. Now there's this CRISPR patenting rule. So read CRISPR technology. It has been asked thrice in prelims, and I think once in mains. So please give it a read. It is from static. Now this is the forced. There is a concept called forced painting. Radiocarbon dating has unmasked 2 forced painting in France. The paintings were supposedly impressionist and pointillist work from around the early 20th century, right? Heritage scientists clipped the tiny threads from canvas and plugged what appears to be paintbrush tabs in the paint. Look, so it was means made from impressions. impressions of thread and brush. This is only this that was forced, right? And in search of ice, we past life, we know that our curiosity, NASA's curiosity, sorry, NASA's Perseverance rover, curiosity rover, rover is all set to move towards this G0 crater, okay, which contains the remnants of a delta. So they will try to search past life on Mars, okay. And the meteorite in desert, scientists have found X-sized meteorite 5 kilometer square area in Western Australia using drones and neural network. They found this, okay. That's the end. So this is the end of science section for today's Hindu newspaper. I hope you like it all. If you like it, give us a thumbs up. We will try to bring more of such initiatives as soon as possible. If you have any problem in understanding this concept, please comment. And if you find anything good, please let us know. If you find anything that needs improvement, please let us know. We have all open ears. Thank you very much. And before going, I would like to again remind you that please subscribe to our channel, please like our work, and please share this so that no person is left behind. Thank you.